This is VeriScope News. Verified data. Clear context. The U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis released the Personal Income and Outlays report for February 2026. The release includes the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. This index is a primary measure of inflation used in official economic tracking. The report provides updated information on price changes, consumer spending, and income conditions across the United States. The data reflects activity through February and is part of the regular monthly release schedule. This report is widely referenced in economic analysis. It is also used in policy monitoring and financial planning frameworks. The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, or PCE, measures the change in prices paid by consumers for goods and services. It covers a broad range of spending categories. These include housing, healthcare, transportation, and food. The PCE index differs from other inflation measures in its weighting system. It adjusts for changes in consumer behavior. This includes substitution between goods and services when prices change. The Federal Reserve uses the PCE price index as a primary inflation gauge. The core version of this index excludes food and energy prices. This helps isolate underlying price trends. The February 2026 release provides both monthly and annual comparisons. These comparisons show how prices are changing over time. The BEA reports that the PCE price index increased 0.4% in February compared to the previous month. In January, the monthly increase was 0.3%. On a year-over-year basis, the PCE price index increased 2.8% in February. This is the same rate recorded in January. The calculation shows no change in the annual rate. 2.8% minus 2.8% equals 0.0 percentage points. There was no revision to the January PCE price index. The reported figure remains unchanged. Core PCE, which excludes food and energy, increased 3.0% year-over-year. This figure was confirmed across multiple sources. The release was published at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. By 8:57 a.m., the data was available through official BEA channels. The PCE price index is part of a broader system of national accounts. It is included in the Personal Income and Outlays report. This report also tracks wages, salaries, and consumer spending. The index is constructed using data from business surveys and administrative records. It reflects actual transactions rather than fixed baskets. The year-over-year measure compares February 2026 to February 2025. This removes seasonal effects and provides a longer-term view. The monthly measure compares February to January. This captures short-term changes in pricing. A monthly increase of 0.4% indicates that prices rose within that one-month period. The previous month showed a 0.3% increase. The unchanged annual rate indicates that price growth over the past year has remained stable at the same level. Updates were made to estimates from October through January. However, the January PCE price index itself was not revised. Households experience inflation through everyday purchases. A steady annual rate of 2.8% means prices are higher than 1 year ago. Monthly changes affect near-term spending patterns. A 0.4% increase reflects rising costs within a short time frame. Prices influence purchasing decisions. When prices increase, households may adjust spending levels or shift between products. For example, if food prices rise, households may reduce discretionary purchases. If energy costs change, transportation spending may adjust. Savings are also affected by inflation. When prices rise, the purchasing power of saved money changes. A stable annual rate suggests that inflation is not accelerating. However, the monthly increase indicates continued price movement. Businesses track input costs and pricing strategies. A monthly increase in the PCE index may reflect higher costs in production or services. Companies may adjust pricing to maintain margins. This can affect consumer prices across different sectors. Employment conditions can also be linked to pricing trends. Wage growth and labor costs are part of the broader economic system. The report states that wages and salaries increased 0.5% in January. This figure remained unchanged after updates. When wages increase, household income rises. This can support spending levels. Spending patterns are influenced by both income and price changes. These two factors interact within the economy. Analysts monitor both the monthly and annual PCE figures. The relationship between these two measures provides insight into trends. The core PCE index is also closely tracked. It removes volatile categories to show underlying patterns. Upcoming releases include additional BEA reports and labor market data. These provide supporting information on economic conditions. Data points such as consumer spending, wage growth, and price changes are reviewed together. Experts also observe revisions in past data. In this release, prior estimates were updated, but key inflation figures remained unchanged. The February 2026 report shows that annual inflation, as measured by the PCE price index, remained at 2.8%. There was no change compared to January. This indicates stability in the year-over-year rate. The monthly increase of 0.4% shows continued price movement within the current period. The absence of revisions to January confirms consistency in prior reporting. External coverage from Reuters, Associated Press, and Bloomberg aligns with the official data. The figures reported across all sources match the BEA release. The PCE price index is calculated using chain-type price indexes. This method allows weights to change over time. It captures shifts in consumer behavior. For example, if consumers substitute one product for another, the index adjusts. The index includes both goods and services. Services account for a larger share of total consumption. Data is collected from multiple sources. These include business surveys, retail reports, and administrative datasets. Seasonal adjustment is applied to monthly figures. This removes predictable patterns related to time of year. Year-over-year comparisons are not seasonally adjusted. They reflect raw differences between the same months. The index is expressed as a percentage change. This allows consistent comparison across time periods. Monthly changes are compounded over time to form annual rates. This is VeriScope News. Verified data, clear context.